Welcome to my channel. I want to say thank you very much for the 1,000 people plus that have subscribed to the show. I never expected more than 50 or 100, to be honest with you. And I retired at 58. It's been 4 decades on the road, various jobs from DZ license to sales and service. So I figured what an appropriate way to start the show on the road. The idea of the show was to demystify the stock market. I did get to spend 10 years in a DIY world, and the last 5 years I really focused on income investing. So I kind of want to take the show to where I demystify the whole idea of investing in yourself and in the stock market. The show's not about my wife and myself; it's about you, and to not be scared to get involved in something that's not that difficult. Yes, it is a lot of terms, a lot of things at first, but hopefully over the next few months of our shows, there'll be 2 shows. I'll be the guinea pig, so we're going to take my CPP and use that to show you how I invest into income. I don't speculate. I don't trade. I can make it really simple. I'm going to put it in RSP, so if you're still working, this way it won't affect your income. If you put $100 in your RSP and you're getting $100, then it kind of wipes itself out for tax purposes. Just for the record, just so you know, I'm not a tax specialist or am I an income a financial advisor. I'm doing this just for more of entertainment purposes and to show people what happened in Alaba. I'm still here. And having a great time. And also to say that retirement can be anything you want it to be. There's a term that I used in the opening of the first 45-second clip was retirement to fire, or retirement us, our journey to fire, FIRE. It's an acronym for financially independent, retired early. So at 58 years old, I'll show you what we did, and maybe I can give you guys ideas. So retirement is a nasty. I don't like the word retirement. I like the word to be financially independent, not working for someone's name in the building. So welcome. This will be the office for Shotgun. I'll have some guests here. The whole idea, the premise of the show is to take the journey to all the places I traveled, meet up with people I miss, and they'll sit in the car. We'll ask them why they move, or they serve the community they're in. And maybe they will flip on me and they can interview me. So it's just about a show about where we have fun each time. There'll be 2 episodes that are pinnacle. It'll be in my office, which I'll be next in the office. It'll be also a shotgun seat there for as well. If somebody wants to sit in the office. I've got lots of friends who are really inquiring about what investing, and they're all scared. Let's demystify it. It's not that difficult. Let's have fun in the process. So again, my disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor. I can only show what I've done, but the banks, the government, the tax system are not your friends. And that's something, if you understand that, you can retire earlier. You don't need $10 million to retire or $1 million to retire. If you're an income investor like myself, we retired at 58. And it took us, I could say, I spent since 1987 really being a saver. It wasn't until 2016 that I thought, it's time to take this journey and self-direct it and be a DIY investor. So stay tuned. Let's watch. And the engine of the show is what if, what is, when, who, what, where. Ask all kinds of questions. Subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button. And all your comments, if you've got questions, episode each week. I don't want to do anything longer than 10 or 15 minutes. Most people's attention span, including mine, is about 12 minutes. So let's make these short and quick. And I didn't script this, so I'm going to have some errors in it. I don't care. I just want to make this a raw, fun. I don't want to what do they call it? Cineplex, FX and all that other crap. I'm a 60-year-old guy. I turned 60 this year. I spent a year of my retirement journey in the Caribbean stage. And so now I want to give back and just show you guys what's possible. My wife and I are excited. So sit back, get some popcorn out, and let's enjoy the ride. It's all about you. In fairness, Lori didn't want to be the first one in the shotgun position in the office or the van, but here she is. Wow, the star of the show. Little surprise. LG. Going countertop. Buckle up there, baby. Your shotgun. Want to buy kitchen countertops or distributions? What?
Why is this camera on me?
Because I can. You're the star of the show, huh? They don't want to see me. You're the beaut. You're the LG. I'm the math. Anyways, we're going shopping. We're going to spend Lori's lovely distributions. Okay, so the star of the show is the $901.28. It should have been 82 cents, but I have dyslexia, so every once in a while, if I'm not careful, I switch numbers. Anyways, the 901.28 will be reinvested into 3 ETFs, which will give us a monthly distribution, not dividend, because dividends is an individual stock. It's these are ETFs, so they're called distributions. And then for the year, that's going to give us a nice $77.94. It will be actually more because the fact that you're getting it every month, it compounds. So when we get our money in February, the batch of, or sorry, January is coming up. We're going to get my next batch of 901.82, and we're going to do 3 more ETFs. Stay tuned. A disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as financial, investment, or trading advice. All investments involve risk, and you should do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. Past performance is not guarantee of future results. All right, before we get to the 3 picks I'm going to pick for today's show for our CPP, first question I think has been answered fire. I've had text messages and emails. Kelly and Steve asked me what FIRE is. I think we answered that in the beginning of the show. Another one from my audience that asked about why do you use shotgun. When I used to go to tournaments with my friends, we always used to come out of the alleys and say, "Hey, shotgun driver." So the rest of it came. I originally wanted backseat driver, but unfortunately there's a copyright on that. So there's 3 questions before we start all this, and this is from Dave in Dunville. He asked, what is an ETF? It's an exchange-traded fund, and it's a basket of different stocks. I'm not a stock picker, as I said to you before. I did when I first started, but I like to have the stability of many, many stocks inside a basket. So an ETF is nothing more than an exchange-traded fund. Okay, I got a couple more questions before we start with the ETF picks for this show. Michael from Stony Creek is a friend of mine. He's just a younger investor. He's just getting into the ETF world. And he asked me, what's AUM and NAV, and why is that important to you, Mike? So good question. Let's start it off with assets under management was what AUM stands for. It's kind of like the whole pot. Let's think of a farm. A farmer will have crops in the field, whether he's got animals, beef, cows, like pigs, chickens. I like the chicken terminology because they keep laying the golden eggs. And think of the basket as all these things. And if it's a $1 billion farm or more, or even $15 million or more, it's a decent ETF. You can trust that farmer. Now NAV, net asset value. So it's a fair price of a scoop, a basket, a bushel, or my buddy Dave likes trucks. Big transport truck carrying a pile of different ETFs and farms inside that. You get a scoop of it. So the price would be based on the NAV. So all that stuff on the AUM on the farm, divided by the amount of shares given out, would be the net asset value of the fund. And, for example, like let's take an ETF that's $12 and you've got 500 companies inside of it. Well, that's a pretty large scoop of companies for $12, but at least that that you've got a pretty safe vehicle to be invested in, especially if you're at the stage now where my wife and I are retired, we retire on income. All right, so let's get into the ETFs and why I pick ETFs. So my first pick is HDIV. I bet you people, when you saw the 3 H's on the screen, it was not my wife buying countertops, which we'll show in later shows. She's redoing the kitchen right now. It saved me buying a house, so trust me, it was well worth the distributions. So think of it, HDIV is a farm of many different animals, cows, pigs. They have different crops of corn, all kinds of stuff, and they're producing something every month. The farmers at Hamilton, which I like to call them, we'll just call them, they're not farmers, but they gather up all the profits. They just distribute them. Wow, tongue-tied here again. So diversity is the key. So to relate that into the real world, they're a company that has banks, energy, tech. So that way, if one of the companies gets sick or go bad, or because the markets go up and down, you got all this stuff going on. You see it on a daily basis, and that's why people are scared. You've got a lot of other products in this fund that hold it up. So now let me try to explain cover calls. People have to do cover calls. So it's kind of like renting out your property or borrowing someone else's property, and you work together with your neighbors for a chance to get some of those animals later on. Now, leverage, I kind of think of that as like a HELOC or a mortgage. Now, these guys can get money a lot cheaper than we can. And I was going to call it booster feed. I like that. So borrowing a little extra to buy more animals. This farm is now, in most cases, these ETFs are going 25% leverage. So the best part, that when the golden eggs arrive, you get paid not every year, every quarter, you get paid every month. So it's one of those things that, like as of January 2026, HDIV has got a 10.5% yield, and they're a fund that I like because I don't find the capital eroding. Sure, you get a little less dividend, but most people that know me, I don't usually get a bed for less than 15%. But you got to look at the whole process. If it's growing capital and you're getting 10.5% per year divided per 12, pretty good deal. Now, with all this farm talk going on, so let's pick the second pick. And I think that we need to be looking at the U.S. markets. And I've had HYLD on and off over the years. Now that I'm more retired, I have HYLD as a full-time farm in my portfolio. So it's got ridiculous diversification. There's 8 ETFs so if you think of each ETF as a farm in itself, of farms, got 8 of them inside of it. It's entirely U.S. focused on the S&P 500, so that's a ridiculous amount of different companies. So if one gets a little bad, you've got another one coming in line. So the monthly income, the best part is you don't have to wait to the end of the year or the quarter. You're getting a paycheck every single month, which means a lot to me. And when you look at HYLD, it's 12.4% per annum, so that's pretty decent. Now it's getting closer to my 15%, which I like to average my portfolios or more, and that will lead to the next pick, which I think everybody's excited to know what that's going to be. Now, my third ETF I put in my portfolio is HHIS, and it's kind of a cute name. It's called Harvest ETFs. So on this farm theme of harvesting, so let's talk about HHIS. And now I do like the Harvest Group. They're here in Canada. They've been founded in 2009, but they're very responsible to the Canadian investors. So you're not finding yourself that you're eroding away your capital, yet you're still getting a nice monthly distribution. So let's think of Harvest as a supercharged farm with 19 of the strongest prize animals like Apple, Microsoft, just small companies like Amazon. It's fund of funds, meaning that only 19 individual ETFs under one roof. Now, I used to have all the individual ones single, but they're very volatile. So when they combined all the single ETFs like HYLD and your different ones, I jumped on board with HYLD. Now, I'm not usually the first to the dance, but I've always been very good with Harvest. I never have had any issues with their products. To generate this massive income, they get 26.4% per yield, so it's over 2% a month. And they have two things. They write cover calls, renting out the animals on about 33%, which they do cap it at 50. The turbo leverage is 25% on the farm, so that's makes the farm bigger than it is, so you can get yourself some nicer distributions. I love leveraged ETFs, especially cover call leveraged. The only thing is you have to understand when you do that, this 19-legged one big monster, I should say, getting tongue-tied here. You can run into some difficult times if things start to struggle in the markets, because you're only down to 19, unlike your HYLD. But it focuses on tech giants. It focuses on healthcare like Lilly and Johnson & Johnson. And I think we already know the tech giants. So this is one I feel good in. But again, I buy this ETF not to live on the whole amount of 26.4% distributions. Now it varies. It's going to be 2% thereabouts. But I use that to build on other products as well. So I keep, say, 15-20% of it, and then I reinvest the balance. But I have a simple weight theory where I always give back 20-30% of all my distributions every month. Been doing that for years. So anyways, that's my 3 picks. And we'll do a summary and all that stuff. So better recap this so you know what that crazy device is a Stream Deck. I bought this and I use it. It's got like 7 pages. That's my portfolio for Canadian ETFs that I own. These will be featured in the show. So a little hint, if you're wondering what the BBQ is going to be next week, look at this screenshot. Zoom in. I'm going to put it towards the end of the video, so you have to go to the end of the video. But the best part of the video is at the end with Lori. Cheers. Well, that's my show today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Let's recap. HDIV, HYLD, and HHIS. Little tip for each of these. HDIV is 70% Canada and 30% US. HYLD, it's the top S&P 500 in the US, the 8 ETFs supercharged. And then you got HYLD, which has the 19 top tech stocks. So our next show, stay tuned. What we're going to do is be looking at the next batch of ETFs. A little hint, if you look at my stream deck, you'll see that the ETFs will be BBQ, a barbecue. I don't know, that's kind of cute. But anyways, that's our next video, so stay tuned. Thanks for coming and enjoy the show, and the best part's yet to come.
Is it banged off the garbage?
Shotgun!
Ugh.
You're driving. Your shotgun?
I'm the passenger.
Shotgun!
Woo! Oh my god, that's recording?
Of course. We're going to do a couple shots.
You're not posting that.
I'm posting that. Again. Woo!